All right, we watched. I watched episode 2 at least. Yeah, I mean, okay. So I didn't realize Lex died. I remember the snake part and Superman and Superboy burning the snake, but I just assumed Lex was still alive and maybe just needed medical attention. And then episode 2 happened. And I was like, oh no, he's dead.
Yep, that boy dead.
He dead.
I don't know. I feel like I see things crawl out of people's mouths and they survive. I don't know how magic works sometimes.
I mean, sometimes they live, sometimes they die.
Death is such a inconsequential thing in Titans. In the DC universe, really.
In comic books.
That's true. But I feel like DC takes advantage of it way more because they have a literal thing that just brings people back to life.
I mean, to be fair, the X-Men have a bunch of eggs where they just get reborn from right now.
We don't talk about the X-Men right now.
Eggs they get reborn from, huh?
Yeah, right now, they have one X-Men. I think his name was Gold Balls or something.
Gold balls?
And he makes like golden balls, which are actually eggs.
Yeah?
So when a mutant dies, they have the council, which is made of like the 5 strongest like telepaths or something, and just like put in all the memories of the X-Men who died into the eggs for them to be reborn.
I hate it.
All right. Gold balls.
The Lazarus Pit is better than that. I'll give you that.
Yeah, they use Cerebral to like record like everyone's minds down to like the smallest detail, and then use the telepath to implant the memories from Cerebral into the eggs.
That seems like too much. This is why we don't talk about the X-Men right now.
I mean, it is too much. That's why like they have a whole like event going on with like Avengers versus X-Men versus Eternals.
Okay.
And Eternals just like destroyed Mars, which is the home planet of the X-Men right now.
Okay. The X-Men, they didn't want to join Latvia? Or is that what it's called? Latvia?
Dr. Doom Nation?
Yeah.
No, not that I know.
Isn't that a nation for mutants?
No.
Magneto's place is Genosha?
Genosha, yeah.
Latvia is definitely Dr. Doom's place.
I have made a blunder, and thus my knowledge has been put into question.
That's okay. We all fuck up occasionally.
Yeah. But no one fucks up more than the Titans staff.
I feel like they just don't respect the
anything?
The source material. They halo it, man.
Themselves.
I wonder who
it's so crazy. Is
Halo, Titans, or Witcher?
Witcher has the benefit of still being a good show.
Halo disrespects it the most. The Witcher disrespects it, but at least is good. And then Titans just does very poorly.
Let me sing Titans some praise right now, right?
Okay.
I'm going to sing some praises. I did very much enjoy Dick and Raven checking for occult activity. I thought that was a very nice thing that I wish they would have delved deeper into. But considering that Raven lost her powers, probably that's not going to happen for a little bit. So.
Well, there's a lot of things going on with Raven at the end, right? Like, she presumably lost her powers. Might be dead-ish. But also, she lost her little thing, which wasn't that holding her father?
So yeah, so my whole thing, and that's that leads me to a new complaint. There's no way they just took Trigon, right? Like, that's just not how that works.
Why wouldn't it? He's just trapped in the jewel. I feel like anyone can just grab it.
But they magically she absorbed it, so she absorbed Trigon, which, from my understanding, is it's a seal. I feel like he would just be free at that point, right? Like she was barely keeping him at bay as it was.
Well, I think that's the point. I think maybe they're going to use Trigon. Maybe he'll be back. Maybe he'll be a more imposing threat than 2 episodes.
Have to prove it to me first.
I was thinking the entire time that the Brother Blood arc and the Trigon arc should have just been one and the same.
Yeah.
And I think they should delve more into the occult in terms of Raven.
Well, I think that's when they've gotten some of their better stuff, is delving into the occult, because they're not ruining it as much.
Because surprise, surprise, Raven is an interesting character who you don't have to make just an edgy teen.
Yes. But also because they keep tying Beast Boy into the occult as well, which is interesting.
Yeah. It's a little weird.
It's like New 52 Beast Boy when he was connected to the red, and he was red.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm leaning towards I don't like it.
I think people are trying to make Beast Boy more cool than he actually is. His power is very straightforward. He can turn into aliens and monsters, and he can
turn into any
animal
on any planet,
which is perfectly reasonable. We don't. If he turns into a demon this season, which I am not, I'm sure they'll do it. I'm gonna have many questions.
I mean, didn't he turn into a demon in like the Teen Titans show during Trigon stuff?
No.
He turned into a demon in the Justice League versus the Teen Titans.
I don't think he did. I'm pretty sure he just turned into an alien animal.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll need to rewatch the Justice League versus Teen Titans one in the DCAU, because I think he turned into one of the demons when they're fighting like Raish in Hell or something.
I don't remember that. I hope they don't do that.
They probably will.
So who's the new character we're gonna get this season?
Well, it's gonna obviously be Cassandra Cain, so we can needlessly get extra drama between Tim, Cassandra, and Bernard.
I think you're confusing Cassandra for
Cassandra.
Stephanie.
Stephanie, yeah. Because that's very in brand for Titans.
Yeah. Part of me was kind of hoping for maybe like a Wally West, especially when I heard Star Labs. But they're in Metropolis, so it doesn't make sense. But
also, this is Titans. We've already have the thing that they don't want to use people with powers. They will have these people with powers, but they will get one action scene a season.
Hence why they benched Superboy already.
Yeah.
Superboy, who hasn't done much throughout the entire series.
He got out of jail in the second episode.
Yeah. Also, why was he able to hear things when he was in the kryptonite prison?
Well, it's just green kryptonite. It hurts him. It doesn't shut him down.
I was very confused. I think they're very confused about what kryptonite does to him. It weakens him, but it doesn't take away his powers. That's the red sun.
Red sun energy would depower him. And also, he's only half, so it's probably only half as effective as Superman.
I thought it was always equally effective for Superboy. Well, I shouldn't say always, because Superboy originally didn't have Superman's powers, but from that period on, I thought it was.
I don't know. I don't know how it works. It's not like we can measure it, but I don't know. I would just assume he's being weakened. half as much, but it probably still sucks.
So yeah, now that you've seen the episode, it makes me wonder. So what the fuck is that thing they were chasing? Because it's definitely not Brother Blood.
I thought it was Brother Blood for the first bit.
Yeah, the Plague Doctor dude. I thought that was Brother Blood. I thought that was him, and I was like, oh nope.
They released what Brother Blood looked like, and he does not look that cool. So
it was just Boneface Man.
What did they call
Man
him?
it is.
Doctor something.
It was
Harward or something.
For who?
Guys,
The Boneface Man. It was Lex Luthor's doctor, right?
Yeah.
They're assuming.
They're assuming. I figured it out though. It's Man.
It's what?
Lord Deathman.
Lord Deathman.
He's from Japan. He's made it here from the Batman manga.
He's not just in the Batman manga, but yeah.
Yeah. He just had like a whole arc with Robin, and Robin's having a love interest with Lord Deathman's sidekick. What's her name?
And the biggest thing we know about Lord Deathman is he doesn't die.
Oh wow. Maybe it is Lord Deathman. You know, that'd be so on par with them.
It would be worse though, because Lord Deathman is just supposed to be a skeleton.
Yeah, they did rip off the dude's mask, and
yeah,
it was in fact the dude there.
Yeah.
No, Lord Deathman. So in the comics recently, they said he doesn't have any powers or anything. He's just very theatrical.
But I thought like originally his power was that he doesn't die.
His original power in the manga was he did not die. Yeah. But I guess they reconned it because his sidekick said no, he's just very theatrical. He loves putting on a show.
I mean, but this is Titans. They can go do whatever they want.
They will do whatever they want.
And it will be wrong.
On about every single level. Also, can we talk about that stupid CGI fight on the highway? Like, did anyone else get just like genuinely irritated watching that dumpster juice of a scene?
I honestly blocked it from my memory.
I watched it. I was like, why does this look like 2003 CGI? Why?
Well, it's still not the worst CGI, though. The worst CGI is when the Porsche comes out the RV.
Like, first of all, do you guys not have luggage? You guys were going on a road trip across the country earlier.
What kind of RV is this? And did you spec the RV specifically to fit another car in it?
Yeah.
But they had to get rid of all their luggage.
Why?
It was a Wayne Tech RV.
I wish they would
stop. An electric Porsche.
I wish they would stop trying to make Dick Batman.
I mean, he's about to get his own Robin. He just gave the little girl his jacket.
Yo, I forgot about that dumpster juice in this scene. And you know what's crazy? Isn't it supposed to be that Gordon gives the jacket to Bruce?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Gordon gave the jacket to Bruce. And then he said it before he gave the jacket to the girl, like that, like a brave, strong man gave him this jacket when he lost both of his parents.
It's a cycle, man.
It's a cycle. But her dad's still alive. Cycle. She still has one parent.
Yeah, I'm gonna be my own person. I'm not gonna be Batman, and proceeds to just continue to be Batman with just a slightly less cool costume.
I mean, to be fair, that's slightly on brand for Dick.
Is it? Dick, I feel, has always been more like upbeat.
Yeah, but he also has moments where he's like, I'm not going to be Batman, and then does something that Batman would do.
That's fair. That is fair. I guess that is on brand. So they're doing something right, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing it intentionally, but they're doing it right.
No, nothing in the show's good intentionally.
I'm enjoying that Tim in this show already sucks.
Aren't you a Tim stan?
I am.
Yeah, Tim's his favorite Robin.
He sucks. 2 episodes in and he has provided nothing. Besides that, he has a bow staff.
And he wants to take pictures with it.
Yeah, to send to his
Saint Bernard.
love interest. Like I think even last season, like he helped out a little more because he's supposed to be something of a detective genius, but whatever.
Well, also because he was in his hometown.
That's true. Yeah.
Like they gave him more street smarts than Jason.
So they gave Tim more street smarts, Dick more of an ability to be a detective, and then Jason was I don't know.
Just a dick.
Which I guess is still technically correct for his character.
Yeah, but more leaning towards Damien.
Ah, yes. So they made him Damien. So I imagine Damien will be like, I don't know, Cassandra.
Like Dick.
I'm beaten happy. I got a new Robin. Yeah.
Did we get a name for this girl?
No.
I feel like we did.
I think her mom said it, but it wasn't of it anything of note.
Until at the end of Titans when she's revealed to actually be Cassandra Cain. And
I mean, it could be. Her mom was definitely Asian and the dad was white, and that's Cassandra's parents. Cassandra's parents, Lady Shiva and Richard Dragon.
Yeah, so the mom is going to be revived to be.
And the mom was working with Lex Luthor.
The mom was going to be revived through the Lazarus pit somewhere else as Lady Shiva somehow. And then the dad is going to actually be revealed to be Richard Dragon.
Richard Dragon, one of the greatest martial artists in the world.
And then boom, Cassandra Cain. And if that for some reason was spot on, I'm never watching an episode of the show again.
Plot twist, it's actually going to be Artemis.
You see, the dad is actually Sportsmaster pretending to be Richard Dragon. Oh my gosh.
And then her long lost sister is going to come out of nowhere as Cheshire Cat.
You're thinking of someone else now.
It's so crazy because episode 2 was good for about 20 minutes.
Was it good for that long?
I'm just gonna make.
It was showing some progress at the start, I guess.
I'm just gonna say it is. I am more than 100% certain that I'm wrong. It's probably more like 5 minutes.
It did definitely start off strong, which is what Titans does.
Like I said, the whole occult investigation was nice.
Lex Luthor's death was surprising.
They're tying. I guess this has been a running theme in Titans from the beginning, but I still feel like I have to stress that I don't like it. But why is Starfire so tied into Raven's story?
Because she's like the mom of the family for whatever reason.
It still doesn't make any sense. That's not an answer.
Because they decided that Corey had no interesting stories to tell about herself.
No interesting stories between her tyrant sister slaughtering her parents and trying to take over other planets in the galaxy, and she's the only person who can stop her. I feel like that was
only like tapped into like
that
8% of her power. I think they said.
But remember that Blackfire is not actually bad. She was just, judged harshly.
Yes, because we're in the trend where we should just make all villains redeemable for some reason.
And some people aren't redeemable, and that's okay.
Some people are just assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you get the name just Commander, we're just assuming you're gonna be a dictator.
Yeah, I think that's the idea behind it too. It's like, oh, what's the name we can give her that emphasizes that she's a tyrant? Commander.
Washington Commander.
And then I'm sure with Starfire, they were like, oh, let's call her Corey, but we have to make it sound more alien. Oh, how about you add Ander to it?
Got some coriander, guys. I just looked at my spice rack.
Dead.
Her child with dick will be cumin.
From the planet of star anise.
Yo, but like I can't say. And what did they do to Starfire's power? I forgot about that at the end of the last season.
It's not the Blackfire.
She gave it to Blackfire, and now she has the power of.
I don't know.
Something.
Yeah, but she's only using like 8% of it.
Yeah, something about like 8%'s been tapped into.
Because it's a metric that they were able to establish off this power that no one knows what it is because it hasn't existed before now.
Yeah, because Star Labs.
Because Star Labs, yeah. Which I guess is fair. I mean, not just too harshly. It's comic books.
Yeah.
That I will let pass. I just want to know what this power is.
They got a bio reading, and it was only 8%.
They're going to make her an angel. That's like the only direction I can think of. With like how tied she is into occult, she has to obviously and her power in itself looks like it's luminescent. So they're gonna make her like an angel, like trapped in her body or something like that, or the reincarnation of an angel or something like that. I don't know.
Oh yeah, what's a better way to ruin something than two things at once?
Right. Because yes, let's make Starfire just completely tied into the occult. Because why not?
Well, we're also making Beast Boy tied into the occult.
Yeah, because why not?
And they also mentioned like Superboy's been researching the occult for some reason.
Was he?
No, I think Luther was.
Lex was.
Luther. Okay. I thought Dick was saying something that he checked Superboy's like hard drive or something.
No, he checked Lex's hard drive.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Lex was researching ways to survive kryptonite poisoning, which, in their fairness, that's fair. He might do that.
This time it makes sense.
The only sensible thing.
I mean, last time kryptonite poisoning, all it ever did was make him bald. This time it gave him like cancer or something.
This time they made it an actual sickness. And he's down with it.
Yeah, I remember even in the animated show when he had it, it was like, yeah, it'll kill you, but just stop using kryptonite and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe dabble in red sun energy. So what do we rate these first two episodes?
I don't know. On a scale of Titans to 10.
Titans, yes.
Like maybe a 5, a 4.
Or I guess it should be like on a scale of Under the Red Hood to, I don't remember the title of a good episode.
It's because we don't have Hawkman. Or not Hawkman. The fuck? Hawk.
Well, yeah, of course we don't have Hawk. He's busy elsewhere.
Being the Reacher. They just should just bring him back to life.
You think he wants to be a part of this shit show?
I think he's the only thing that can save this shit show. Just kill off Dick and replace him with Hawk. I'm sorry, actually. It has to be done.
What's crazy is I don't even think any of the actors are like bad.
No, yeah, none of the acting is bad. It's just, well, no, I take that back. Most of the acting is good. Maybe at first, in like the first season, Ravens was pretty trash, but
yeah, but she's grown into it.
But she was like 12.
I blame that on the fact that she's a kid, which they didn't have to do. Huh?
And direction. Yeah, the other part is direction.
I don't even think the direction was even off with her in that season. I just
if you have a child actor who's not performing well, it's on the director.
You should. Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking script writing. I was like, I don't even think the script writing was even bad in that first season. I think they should have just not.
I thought you
aged
said
it out.
direction at first. I was
Like they should have just made them all semi-adult Titans.
You gotta do one way or the other.
Like
The age discrepancy is weird.
this mixed team is too weird. Like, because they should all be best friends instead of a family. Sorry.
I mean, it's not that weird because I mean, Dick and Corey and Donna, they were the original Teen Titans, and they became the Titans. Raven and Beast Boy came by later. I think Cyborg 2 came in later.
yeah,
So they were always younger.
Yeah, but from a show perspective, it's a weird choice. It's a weird starting off point.
Yeah.
because I was supposed to. Because Dick is a father figure to Raven.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, that's weird to me.
It's
Dick-
a little less weird and like animated. Like but I think it's very weird in this like live action setting.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the animated, if you're talking about the Teen Titans cartoon, it definitely did it differently where, like, they kind of kept it unsure about which Robin we're following and everything for the most part.
No, that was Tim.
It was Tim in the animated show?
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, when it was to the future, he was Nightwing, but he definitely had, like, Tim's outfit and personality and weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was Dickum.
It was
sorry.
Dick Drake.
I don't know why that came out like that. Dick Drake, yeah.
Dick Drake.
And then during the Red X saga, it was very Jason-y.
Tim Grayson. Until they made Red X a separate person, right?
Yeah.
Which
Like,
You mean Tim
is
Todd?
Jason alive now?
who is Red X actually in the comics?
We don't know.
I hate. You know what? I hate comic books. I think I've decided. Everything pisses me off. You don't know who Red X is in the comics. What?
I mean, Red X was made in the TV show. He only made his comic book appearance like a year ago.
Even still, like, but
Like, I think they were leading up to unmasking Red X, but then I think the comic got canceled.
that's
Teen
so
Titans
weird.
Academy, I think it was.
Wow, now that you guys mentioned it, because that would mean Tim has a relationship with Starfire, not Dick. But at the same time, it is Dick because it was Nightwing in the future. That's so confusing.
Yeah, because they were like, we're not gonna deal with it. We're just gonna combine them together. But personality, weapon, design, he looks like Tim. But we have episodes in the future where he's definitely Nightwing.
Yeah, man. Dick Drake.
I feel like Raven is just more interesting of a character than they're actually showing in this show, and it's pissing me off.
Yeah. I feel like
There's so much you can do with her. So much.
I honestly think that they should have done the show differently and maybe like the first couple seasons follow the old Titans. Like follow Dick, follow Hawk, follow Donna, follow Aqualad getting killed.
Aqualad. They still didn't have a Flash back then, did they?
Dove. No Flash.
Because I think the original team was Speedy, Robin,
Hawk and Dove.
Aqualad, Wonder Girl. Who else was that? It? Maybe was anyone else
Hawk
on
and
the team?
Dove.
I don't know if Hawk and Dove were on the original team when it first came out.
Is episode 2
comics?
the first time we heard the Raven chant?
Yes, that is the first time we've heard Azeroth mentioning on
Metrios Zinthos. And it's Madam Mayhem saying it. That's interesting.
Yeah, I literally left the room while watching that.
Really, that's the first time we didn't even hear like her mom or anyone else say it in like season 1.
Nope.
I would imagine like one of the people hunting her down would have said it or something. Trying to bring Trigon in.
Oh, you expect Titans to make sense?
No, it's literally the first. We're on like season 4 or 5, and it's the first time we've heard Raven, one of the most main characters for the entire series, have her chant be said, and it's not.
And
even
she's
Raven
not even
saying
her
it.
saying it. Like that frustrates me more than anything. It's not even her saying it. Someone in Brother Blood. So are we getting Jinx this season?
Yeah, we're getting Jinx.
Okay.
Remember, people were upset with the design because Jinx in the comics is more Middle Eastern, which none of us knew, honestly. I don't think any of the three of us knew this. Like, we all only know Jinx from the Teen Titans show.
Well, what is she now? I actually forget what she looks like.
I don't think she's appeared. She's like appeared in 2 comics, I think.
No, I mean like for the show.
Oh, she has like a pink-haired white girl or something. I don't know.
First look at villains Jinx. Yeah. Oh, is she white?
I don't know.
Yeah, I just can't believe that was. It's like the last 30 seconds of the entire episode.
I mean, I guess her costume like kind of looks. It looks like mummy wrappings on her chest plate area, I guess.
Who is this actress?
For who?
Lisa Abalavanar. Have you been in anything ever? Probably not. But we'll find out.
Yeah, are we done with Titans? Combo?
Not yet. I think Jeff is trying to figure out Jinx right now.
I'm just doing research. I apologize. You guys can start talking about Dragon Prince if you'd like.
Actually, did you prepare what I asked you to?
A thesis on why the elves and the dragons are bad guys?
Yes.
I mean, I didn't prepare the whole thesis, but like I can try and make my point that they're bad guys.
Okay, because you're gonna have to. Because you're wrong. One.
I don't see how they're not bad guys, especially after this season.
So she is an English actress, but she doesn't look white to me at all, actually.
I mean, there's more to England than just white people.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think she's white English. That's why I was trying to find out where her parents were from or something, but her Wikipedia page is like 3 lines. Oh, her costume's cool, at least.
It was pretty interesting.
But I mean, I guess Titans isn't really bad with costumes.
Yeah, they have good costumes.
That's what I come for. Like, I come for bad times and good costumes. Hi, Bella.
And we'll see more of these later in Titans.
Okay, so I think I spoiled this shit for myself. Because I don't think Jinx is supposed to have the gem on her forehead. So I'm sure that's Trigon. Just pushed on her head now.
We'll find out soon in Titans. Now stream on HBO Max. Check us out on our other social medias. I'm Haxley GV everywhere. This is Mightiest Woman everywhere. And yeah, adios, everyone. Take care.
Adios.
All right. Dragon Prince.
Dragon Prince, Dragon Prince.
All right.
What
everyone. It's me, Haxley here. I'm joined today by Mightiest Woman and Jeff Man. And I just binged all of Dragon Prince to get ready to discuss Dragon Prince Season 4 that just dropped over on Netflix now. I've never seen this before. Jeff and I love this show. I watched it. It was okay. It was something I could do while I sorted my Pokemon cards.
Yeah, I rewatched Dragon Prince 1 through 3 before Season 4, watching Season 4.
It's very much like a Breaking Bad show where we follow the bad guys throughout the whole series. Oh, that's the thing.
Haxley's
Huh?
insane.
I've never seen Breaking Bad, but that's what I think it's like.
Haxley's insane. Thinks that the dragons are bad people.
These dragons
the elves are
literally burned down like a whole town full of people.
One time. Name one time that a dragon burned down unprovoked in the entire series.
I mean, that's what it sounds like. What started everything.
No,
No,
what
what
started
started
everything is humans finding black magic.
Yeah, what started everything was humans finding dark magic and dragons. Everybody being like, "Yo, stop killing magical creatures for magic, and live your life with what you've been given."
So are they just supposed to starve? Like we humans don't photosynthesize. We need to eat. We kill things anyway. Why does it matter if it's for dark magic?
They don't need magic for that, as proven.
Yeah, they don't need magic for that.
Yeah, but why is it bad to use it for dark magic when we're using them anyway
Also,
for other
we
things?
know that humans aren't just unmagical. Some humans get access to primal magic.
Yeah, the primal magic sucks. It's the most boring thing I've ever seen.
Just
dark magic so much
doesn't mean
just
it's
cool
bad.
with things.
It's just regular magic.
I can throw a gust of air. I have a fan downstairs.
He can throw more than a gust of air.
Can you throw a lightning bolt?
Yeah, we'll get a Tesla coil.
You're so frustrated.
You think these humans have a Tesla coil?
No, but like with advancements like dark magic, we can do stuff like that too. And
or
cooler
perhaps
stuff.
just advancing normally with what they can, they could get there.
Actually, I need you to give a full explanation as to why elves and dragons are evil and humans are right, besides the fact that they're humans.
Because they're so like hypocritical. Like it's not like in other things where elves are vegan and they don't want to take any lives. Like I literally saw this elf have a feast of grubs. They don't care about life that much.
Eating to survive and killing people for power are two different things.
I wouldn't call a feast eating to survive. That's an indulgence.
It's an indulgence, sure, but that it's very loose. Like
it's not killing for power. That's what you're arguing. Especially a power that corrupts.
How is it corrupting people?
It literally
it's just a
corrupts
thing that
them.
exists.
It literally corrupts them. They decay and age faster. We see it with
Claudius specifically.
Claudius, yes.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like corrupting, like become evil. I mean, like I could just work out my body to death too. Like again, that's just a thing that happens sometimes.
Well, yeah, because you're not supposed to overindulge in things. Even healthy things are bad if you do too much of them. The problem is dark magic doesn't need to be too much. It is just bad for you. It's like smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, that is the perfect analogy. Dark magic is smoking cigarettes.
Except instead of killing yourself, you're also killing other people.
It's like if secondhand smoking, but it was like more direct.
It's like if secondhand smoking instantly killed another being so you could get a little hit.
I mean, sometimes sacrifices have to be made for things. Like
Haxley, I feel like you're just being an edgelord and being contradictory to be contradictory.
No, I'm not. This is just the facts of life. Like even in agriculture, like humans have used like fish to help fertilize lands. We literally still, in the modern day, bleed horseshoe crabs for their blood because we use that to test if things are.
What positive thing did you see that humans use dark magic for?
I mean, we had that cool translocator spell. That'll be handy at any point.
The what?
I would love to know where things are.
Oh, the finding spell.
Okay, so GPS. What else?
I mean, we literally saw Claudette heal her brother, who was now paralyzed.
So yes, she had to kill somebody else who didn't need to die for the sake of resurrecting someone who was already injured, or healing someone else who was already injured, or like Claudia in the beginning of season 4,
who was injured trying to kill somebody.
I mean, the only thing that died was like a fawn or a duck.
But it doesn't change the fact that Soren tried to kill a dragon, and the dragon's response was, "I'm under attack. I'm going to attack back." Burned down the whole village, because that's the village you keep talking about. The dragon was attacked first.
They did shoot a ballista at the dragon, who was literally just there.
And that's what the dragon attacked.
Yeah.
How's the dragon the bad person in this scenario?
I'm talking about the other dragon, the sun dragon, who burned down a whole village.
The sun dragon didn't burn down a village.
Yeah. We had a whole moment where they're like, we're talking about the history of the lands, and what like one of the first.
Are you talking about when they were at war? Because that's when he attacked people, when they were at war.
Because they called on the guy, and they had like they wanted to talk, and the dragon told them to stop using the dark magic, and the guy was like, "But we need it for the farms, for the medicines. Our lives are hard. It makes things easier." And the dragon was like, "No, it's too dangerous. Stop it, or we'll burn down the whole city." And then like a battalion of dragons came from the sky and burned this town to ground.
I do remember what you're talking about. I will not say that dragons and elves are, perfect.
Yeah, they're definitely far from perfect. They just like exile people with like no proof or like anything.
But also, that is the one scenario that you have where the dragons and elves did something awful. When fucking what's his name? Arvin? The Dark Mage. The dad literally corrupts his entire army.
But that was by their choice.
It wasn't by their choice. It was the one guy, and then everybody starts to run away, and he corrupts them anyways.
1 second, y'all.
Like, literally evil.
No, the people had a choice if they wanted to go to war or not. And
no.
People left the army.
No, maybe.
He corrupted like anyone and everyone.
Okay.
Except one dude. And it was also he could get a hold of the Dragon Prince and get power. That's it. Just power. He was also going to harvest the Dragon Queen. For what? Power.
Okay, but still one dude compared to dragons who massacred a whole town, and elves who just exile people when they have no proof that they even didn't do their jobs.
He destroyed a whole city and like natural elements within that city by corrupting a sun seed.
But that's still one man compared to how many elves? A whole village of them exiled the girl elf. I forget her name. Rayla. And they didn't even bother like getting any proof or anything to the stories. Like, is she worth to be banished? Or were her parents worth being banished? They just do things haphazardly all the time, just because it's their customs.
I don't know about all the time.
It's not all the time.
It's that one village custom that they exiled. But that's the task. The job is if you fail the mission, you all die. They knew that going out there.
They thought that her parents ran away from their duty, and they didn't.
Yeah, but they thought that. They didn't get any proof to the fact that they did.
The only proof that they had was there were no bodies. They had no proof that they did their duty. So that everybody thought that they just ran off to never be seen again. And what we find out is Lord Viren turned them into gold coins. Because he traps Moonshadow elves in coin form using dark magic. Something you can't do with primal magic.
Or the bodies could have just been anywhere else and they could have fought to the death.
But we find out in season 2 that that is not the case. It is factual that they are in coins.
Yeah. We know they're in coins. Yes, I'm not arguing that. But like the elves did no research into any of this.
How were they supposed to know?
They could have been... bodies got eaten by something. Bodies could have been somewhere else.
Eaten by what?
I don't know, vultures? There has to be something out there that eat.
All they knew was that the Dragon Princess egg was gone. And the dragon egg was gone. There were no bodies of elves anywhere. Every other elf ran. They had no evidence that they were there to begin with.
The war was fought for petty reasons. That's all I would say.
I mean, war is always fought for petty reasons. That makes it like dark magic is inherently bad because it takes in order to give.
Yeah, but so does like eating, science, a lot of things we do in modern day life.
Yeah, a lot of the things we do in modern day life are also inherently bad. That's a terrible
no, that's your take that you think it's inherently bad. It's my take that it's just life. Doesn't make it bad.
I think that it's showing that rather than trying to harmonize, they're more willing to just take it. Because it's not like the people of Zadia weren't willing to assist the humans or whatever they were doing. Like that has never been said or shown or proven. Like that they were just like, oh fuck. They didn't cast out the humans until they refused to stop using dark magic.
And even then they show like humans and elves coexisting beforehand and how humans were one of the reasons why they were able to like save the world at a certain point in time. So and they even show it now where they're more willing to live with humans who are doing the right thing.
You know, within reasons. Unlike people. Well, I mean, I guess it's season 4 talk. It's probably the one scene I didn't like. The humans were just blatantly being assholes. But
yeah, they were blatantly being assholes, but they also had no understanding of their religions.
And the dude was trying to explain it, though. That was my thing. He's like literally on his knees begging. And Yuri answered is, it's just a candle. Da, 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 da.
The architect is a dick, but like a good example of just pure misunderstanding is General Amaya being proposed to and not realizing it's a proposal because she thinks it's an ambush.
I do like that, yeah.
Like that's a good understanding of they have misunderstandings.
It was just interesting because I just remember on part of that, also with General Amaya there, she's like explaining why it's wrong, and she's like, for blowing out a candle, we celebrate. It's a joke. And I was just like, bro, they're literally telling you why it's bad. Like, they're here telling you.
Yeah, also they call their religion a superstition, which is
wild.
Yeah.
Wild to do that there, at least. You know.
Yeah, Haxley, I think you're just wrong.
I think you guys are wrong, honestly, because like this is just life. Like it's not a bad thing. Just how the world works. Like it's the black magic is honestly no different from how we eat, how we do our science. Like it's basically what Claudette does is basically what I have done for school and work.
You mean Claudia, but also like it's not though, because they sacrifice full animals for power and for wants and not for needs 90% of the time. And if Viren cared about his kingdom the way that he said he did, he wouldn't have done things like killed his king, who is pushing for peace.
Yeah, but that's one person.
But that is the main. So we have 3 main sources of dark magic in this series. None of them are good people. All of them are consistently show that how power corrupts them, and how they are willing to do anything for what they want.
I would say Claudia's a good person. Like, she's like the most relatable character in this show.
How is she a good person anymore? I think
she's doing everything she does for her family.
I think she starts off as a good person, but ends up being not a good person because she does not draw a moral line.
But would you draw a moral line when it comes to your family?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to. Like,
you have to.
I get protecting the family, but she's not even willing to go another route.
Moral line when it comes to my family.
She's not willing to, like, she is not willing to go the moral route. Even with Soren there.
Yeah, it's all about her dad. It's never about like her it's not even ever about her relationship with Soren. It is purely about what her dad wants and appeasing her dad. And people have done much worse for much less.
So my thing is, maybe the argument to be made here isn't even necessarily that dark magic is inherently bad, but I would like to think that the people of Zadia look at it much as how we would look to a nuclear weapon. It's ridiculously dangerous for what it's worth.
I wouldn't say they look at a nuclear weapon. Like, again, we saw them say they're using it for farming. They're using it to like just make their lives better, making their city, healing people.
Maybe that's how it started, but that's not how it is.
Because
there's a few instances where they do that, but most of the instances are for power grabbing.
So, like, think about it like this, right? Think about it like this. When you apply something like dark magic as a solution for a majority of your problems, there's going to be a problem that comes up that requires you to use it to its largest extent. So would the people of Zadia ever be willing to sacrifice, let's say, a city of their people to stop a natural disaster for happening to a city of humans? Like, you get what I mean? Like, the problem, the more you use dark magic, which inherently requires you to take the life of an innocent creature over and over again, like, it, I don't even know how to word it.
It grays it out without it no longer being a moral door.
It becomes moral line, because then the creatures of Zadia start to become more of a product rather than just actual intelligent beings, which they are, because they're going the extra mile. Viren was willing to use magic power from like destroying or corrupting the dragon prince's eggs, which is a top tier being for the people of Zadia. They're highly intelligent. They're like kings and all that over there. So it's disruptive. It's completely disruptive of a whole nation of people. Like, are you willing to sacrifice a whole other nation of people just to get through a little farming or protect yourself from a natural disaster? Which,
I mean, that's no different from what we do nowadays.
You're right, but that doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah, again, Haxley, you keep saying like this is how we do things in the real world. A lot of the things that we do in the real world are morally incorrect.
I think that it's wrong that we have to go to war for natural resources. I think it is bad. I understand it. You know what I mean? I understand why someone would be willing to go to war for a resource that can help the people, but that doesn't change that it is bad. Especially, like I said, the humans didn't even try to go a different route. They're like, oh, dark magic just makes it easy. So that's what we're gonna do. And the easy path isn't always the right path. It's not like they didn't have options. I'm sure the people of Zadia were more than willing to assist them had they worked on setting up a relationship with them like that. But if they couldn't set up a relationship like that because they already fucked it up because they refuse to get rid of the one thing that is just horrendously offensive to the people of Zadia. Like it's like one thing like this, right? It's like you're going to a religious nation, right? Because as we see, the people of Zadia are religious, to their extent. They have their beliefs and so on. Granted, I think they're all different amongst the people, but it's like you're going to this religious nation. Now, it's one thing that you don't believe in the religion, right? That's 100% fine. You don't have to believe in the people of Zadia's religions. You don't have to believe that this is a corruptive force, But the fact is, you can't use black magic without entering their lands and taking whatever is essentially theirs by right.
Also, I think a better example of this is when in the last episode, when Claudia throws the coins and it turns out to not be coins to trick Rayla, and Terry goes, I have seen you do a lot of bad things for what seems like the right reasons, but that was just inherently cruel. Shows like that is someone speaking on a biased term towards a dark magic user, even stating that the things that they do with dark magic are bad, but they're for the right reasons. Like it's kind of like the cool motive still murder, dude. Like if you kill a bad person, like, are you better than the bad person?
Like what? So like, what do they need Rayla's parents for, in coin form?
I mean, hostages because like they're being chased.
No, he's always had them. That's a bullshit answer. He had them for 9 years before they were always chased.
Well, that's the other guy. Claudia didn't know about these till like a week ago.
At least 2 years, because her dad's been dead for 2 years. And who's to say that she didn't know? Because she knew about everything her dad was doing and his secret laboratory at the beginning of the show.
She doesn't care.
Because it was her dad. Because, again, she wants to appease her dad.
Which is why I like Soren more because, I mean, obviously, because he's not, like, he can see that what his dad is doing is inherently wrong. And he hates it, and he wishes to redeem them both, but he's not going to just let them get away with it.
And he kind of always starts with that. Like, at first he starts with just wanting to appease his dad. But then when he's asked to kill Ezran and Callum, he's like, that doesn't sound right. And then when he's attacking a dragon, he's starting to even second guess that. And the entire time he second guesses magic, the dark magic, because he's like, I'm seeing bad things happen for good things to happen. And that shouldn't be the case. Bad things shouldn't have to happen in order for good things to happen. And we see in the 2 years that Ezran has led his people that they seem to be more prosperous than ever. And they're not using dark magic.
Ezran is literally made a direct connection with the Queen of Zadia. Callum has proven that humans themselves can tap into primal magic. It just requires a lot of effort.
I don't know. More needs to be seen on that front because honestly, for me, it kind of just seems like culture is stagnating at that point because we haven't seen like any great advancements.
Well, it's been 2 years.
It doesn't need to be advanced. There doesn't need to be advancement for there to be a prosperous kingdom. You know, it's been prosperous and an advancement in that time. Peace.
And I'm sure they will advance because like I said, we're seeing progress. The fact that the Queen of Zadia, this big storm dragon, can fly over from Zadia to the human realm, land, and there's not and outwardly run away or slay the dragon mentality, outwardly, some people are like that, but it's whatever. If that's, I want to say that's moving forward. That's advancing.
I wouldn't say that's advancing. That's just like, I think advancing, like, I mean, like, advancing technology and culturally. Now it's just like, okay, dragons are their thing.
It is culture because they're gonna end up blending. They're gonna end up.
It's a literal cultural advancement because they are no longer like hesitant of outsiders. They're accepting of outsiders. They are still hesitant, but they are less hesitant. They are no longer attack on first sight. There's a huge cultural advancement because the only way you really get true cultural advancement is merging of cultures at some point. And that's what's starting to happen. They're starting to have sun elves and humans have relationships. They're starting to have relationships with other different countries. Maybe. There's incredible cultural advancement. And we see some technological advancements being made by Callum through his research.
Yeah, he did introduce, like, I don't know what to call those fireworks and so forth. But he is actively working on pushing them forward scientifically,
or magically,
using the he's discovered, and magically as well. And I'm sure as he himself gets more accustomed to the magic, he'll eventually take on an apprentice and so forth and so forth.
Like, there are advancements. And the biggest thing is there's advancements without having to sacrifice anything. There's advancement without having to do something that is bad or evil in order to do good. If you have to do bad or evil in order to do good, you need to look at your process.
All right, I guess I'm just a bad and evil person. Why do you guys talk to me and hang out with me? Because that's what I do for a living. Like, I go to work and I have jars of stuff. I have stuff here of dead things.
What I mean,
I have vials of horseshoe crab blood.
Dark magic in this series is a lot. How do I explain this?
Like, I have just these lying around at work: jars of turtle heads, mastodon teeth, a great white shark, and a coelacanth.
Here's the thing, Haxley, but you're not killing, let's say, like, your neighbor. You know what I mean? You're not killing someone who you can talk to and reason to, right? That's the next step, or actually has been what has been happening with dark magic as we've seen it so far. It starts off with, like, the small animals and so forth and so forth, but the issue is that and the people of Zadia know this from the heart, it's always going to have to end up expanding into the elves, into the dragons,
it's literally even show when they go after the magna giant, one of the humans goes, is it an intellectual creature? And the dark magic user goes, who cares?
Yeah.
Is it the last of its kind? Who cares?
And again, that's one person. Like, you can't just justify black magic being bad because one person does it.
But when it's the entire profession,
it's not the entire profession.
That is the entire profession. When the entire profession is one person, that's the entire fucking profession. It doesn't matter. That's full stop. Your profession isn't going, hey, who cares that these are endangered species? We're going to kill them. You're going, hey, what can we do to help these endangered species? You're trying to keep the ecology good and balanced. They're not.
Okay, then let's look at a different profession, like the medical field, where they use endangered horseshoe crab blood for surgeries.
I think that's illegal.
That's unethical.
I don't think we're supposed to mess with endangered animals, even for medicine.
No, because the government allows a certain amount of them to be culled for the bleeding.
And that's unethical.
Because they're essential to make sure surgeries go well, because they're the only thing we have to tell if something is sterile.
And I would say that's unethical. Now, do we have a better solution? No. But there were better solutions that we're now seeing in Ezra's reign. Like, I think that is the biggest difference. They're going to try to communicate with other kingdoms. So they didn't even try other solutions once they found out dark magic.
And they did. They talked to the dragons, and the dragons gave them a choice. Don't use it and let their civilization fall because life is really hard, or die. And it just ended up being like 1,000-year war.
That was after they already started using dark magic. If they had done that before dark magic, who knows? But we know that the reason why they started using dark magic is because Arvos, who is a morally corrupt creature, started picking on mages and showing them dark magic. Which means they were already researching primal magic and turned to dark magic because it was easier.
I also think dark magic just has more capabilities and higher ceiling. Like, honestly, primal magic just seems nature stuff.
It does.
And lightning, blow at air.
I mean,
get hot.
We haven't seen the full extent of primal magic yet.
Yeah, as far as
I don't think that's a fair magic.
And also, even Callum states about how dark magic felt like it was corrupting him and how it was too easy.
We see we can literally see the physical effect of dark magic on the body, with Viren, with Claudia. And it's like you said, it has a higher ceiling, but the cost of reaching that higher ceiling is steep, extremely steep for the caster and for people around them.
Also, it's about taking unethical shortcuts for something that you could do outside of it. Because if we know that dark magic was started by Aravos, who his big thing is picking on mages, that means there were human mages already that were using primal magic, and it was just too hard for them. And instead of just working harder, they took a shortcut. Or asking for help, they took a shortcut. Because they only asked for help when told that they had to stop using dark magic.
Like, I'm sure if they, and again, it's the storm dragon. I mean, the sun dragon. I'm not gonna sit and act like he's just not a douche. He is, but we see with the storm queen, Zadia, or sorry, not Zadia. I forgot her name. Zanea or something like that. We see with her, she is more than willing to be peaceful. She is more than willing to negotiate, and I imagine, the Storm King, her husband, I forgot his name too. Azamandius. I'm sure he was more willing to negotiate at the time too, had he not already been pushed to the war.
It sounded like the Storm Dragon didn't like humans and liked hunting them. It sounded like the Ground Dragon cared more about humans and thought the Storm Dragon should leave them alone.
But again, that raises the point. Either way, there was someone else they could have gone to.
I think that the Storm Dragon liked hunting humans once the war was started. I think he specifically was hunting humans after he had already lost faith in them. Because both the Storm Queen and the Earth Archdragon talk about the human who helps save the world. So they're not against working with humans.
They're are just primarily dark magic. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still just gonna go with it. I don't see any reason not to continue with it. Like, there's a lot we can learn from it. It should just be a thing we do. Like, why are we putting limits on what we study and learn?
All right, Haxley,
we never know what achievements can be made.
Let me start when you're hunting endangered sea life for scientific advancement.
Okay.
Because that's unethical. Just because we do it in some scenarios doesn't mean it's ethical. There's lots of things that we've done unethical. Hell, the Nazis made some of the most greatest scientific advancements.
Okay.
Just to lay in a point. The nuclear bomb is one of the greatest scientific advancements. It's just hella unethical.
I would say it started off with researching power, and it was turned into a bomb. Like, the start of it wasn't so bad.
The start of it was pretty much a weapon. It was funded by the government during World War II.
I think we're just never going to agree about this, because I will always think it's worth the studies. Ends will always justify the means to me.
Actually, play some D&D with me, man.
That isn't an ethical way of thinking.
Well, if it gets the stuff done, that's why I'm okay with it.
That's again like cool motive, still murder.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, I have no problems like experimenting up myself or others. Like, if I get a chance.
Well, that being said, how do y'all feel about this season?
I guess we can leave it at that. How do we feel about this season?
So my feeling about this season was they were trying to do too much with too little time.
Very little time. I didn't realize that every season's 8 episodes.
Yeah. This season felt very Games of Thrones inspired. And I could tell that there was a new director on this season. I have a lot of thoughts on this season, so I'm just going to spew them all at once. So it is rated TV7, and the first 3 seasons were also rated TV7. But to me, it felt like they could never quite decide what audience they were writing for. Like, I think they had a really great opportunity to lean more towards like the TV10 and just making it dark, especially once the Sky Mage dies and everything starts to happen. But then it was like every 30 minutes or 30 seconds we were getting a fart joke or something, and there just felt like there was a lot of things they were trying to say, but none of them really felt like they fell into the earth. And there was some really cool lore with the earth and elves and the Archdragon of Earth that there could have been exploration of, and there wasn't. And it feels a lot like they ran into the same problems that Young Justice fell into, where they wanted to tell a lot but didn't have the time to do so.
Actually,
yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I misunderstood what the dragon said at first. Like, I thought like each of the Archdragons had one clue to where the place was, but the Stone Dragon had the map.
Each of the dragons had one clue to how he was imprisoned.
Okay.
So
are we still getting adventure to like each of the dragons? Because I thought maybe we'll have like a long season with like adventure meeting like the 5 Archdragons. How many Archdragons are there?
There's 4 to 5 left.
Okay.
Because I think the Sun Dragon is gone, and the obviously the King of Dragons is gone. So that probably leaves 4.
Yeah, we need the water one. I think we saw briefly. It's probably a fire one, or is that the sun one?
That would be the sun.
I would imagine that's the sun one.
Moon.
Yes, I guess it would have to be.
The moon is already gone because she was the queen before Asmodeus took over.
All right, so lots of dragons already gone.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, like y'all said, I feel like, so when we started the series and I saw the chapter and I saw what was going on, I felt like we were gonna go a specific direction of world building.
Yeah.
In the season, because you can kind of see it as they're establishing more of what the Sun Elves are like. And I thought, since the back entrance into the Earth Dragon's lair is through the Earthblood Elves kingdom, or not kingdom, village, I assumed that we would get more information on them, or they would spend more time there than they actually did, which they didn't, which was pretty unfortunate. It was actually very unfortunate. I especially thought they were hinting at it because Terry, everyone's favorite character who came out of nowhere.
I have no idea how I feel about Terry, but that's a separate conversation.
I don't know how I feel about. He's best boy, but like at the same time, I'm like halfway leaning to think that he's like one of our voters' pawns, because I don't know where this dude came from, and all of a sudden he seems way more important than I feel like he should be for a character that I don't know where he came from. So
yeah, my problems with Terry are, one, he's hanging out with Claudia and fine with half of what she does up until the very end.
She was like the only character I understand throughout this whole show. Like, the only one I can relate to, and I understand what they're thinking and doing.
I like Soren a lot. Soren, I think this season has really stepped up.
Soren is definitely great. I wish they would have let him grow a little bit more in 2 years than just
very Clark Kent himbo.
Yes. Besides being goofy himbo 90% of the time.
Yeah.
I think that the dynamic between Callum and Rayla is done really well this season.
You think so?
I'm really annoyed by it. Like, I understand to a human, the 2 years is probably a lot. To the elves, it might just be a blink of an eye, like an hour long.
Well, it was also
they really need to work on the relationship, but it was just annoying.
So it was the fact that she just left, and it seemed like there wasn't a lot of conversation. She just left.
Yeah, and I think that's understandable because like she's an elf, and maybe like 2 years is not a long time.
Yeah, but
it's like I understood it. I feel like they may have been able to execute it just a little better.
Oh yeah, I 100% think that everything that they've done in this season could have been executed better, except for maybe like Amaya and the Sun Elf that she's marrying.
Because I like you said before, I think that they
overextended themselves.
Not even overextended it. It's like they kind of set a feel for how this show was going to be with the first 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Where it is inherently like a TVY7 show, but it's still, it doesn't pander to little kids. It plays with real themes, and it was doing that. What then, like you said, there were just random moments where we have like a shitty fart joke.
Yeah, like one of the most striking things while rewatching seasons 1 through 3 to me was when the copy of Viren gets stabbed and it's not actually him, but you still see like the blood come from the stab wounds. That was huge to me because I was like, oh, we're getting out of TV7 and heading towards TV10 range. Like we're getting real dark. And then you have Viren falling to his death, and like, oh, we're getting really dark. And then the first episode, I'm like, oh, we're getting the Sky Mage dying. Like, we're gonna get some really good shit. And then almost immediately, it's just like a fart joke.
You know what I mean? It's like, and I get they didn't have an understanding for it, but I feel like at the same time, I feel like that's what kind of hurt the scene as well, is they were trying to play on Viren's PTSD, because I mean, it makes sense. That's exactly how he died. That's where he died. Like, it makes sense that he's going to have PTSD, a huge fear of heights. And like, they were playing onto it, but at the same time, it just didn't work because it was surrounded by the fact that Terry is naturally a goofball character, and so is Claudia.
Yeah, and like, I really wish that they had really gone in depth with Viren's PTSD, and maybe had even saved him going back to the staff until next season. Like, really make that moment feel good for the character, even though it's not gonna feel good for the audience.
Which is what it it looked like it was leading to when Claudia was like, okay, I'll just get it. Okay, I'll just do it. Okay, like
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna do that, but earlier within the season, where it pushes her more forward, and then maybe Viren was gonna end up being the character that has to change the heart.
Yeah, like it seemed like he was gonna get a redemption arc where he'll get help for all his messed up problems.
So I didn't even want him to necessarily have a redemption arc, but what I wanted him to do was go back into it with a genuine feeling of I am doing this for you, instead of I am doing this for power and knowledge, which is what I felt like season 2 and 3 especially were. But if he had really gone into season 5 being like, I'm more empathetic with people, but I think I will make your life better with this power.
Right.
And I think that would have been an incredibly strong decision for Viren.
Then I also found just the confrontation, not the confrontation, but the meeting with the Earth Dragon to just be very lackluster for it to be the pinnacle point of that season.
I can agree with that. The only thing I really liked from the Earth Dragon meeting was the trope being turned on its head of like the characters having to give up something that's important to them as the gift, and it being something surprising. And what that really what it really felt like to me for this entire season is we were getting the trope of this is what's important to the creators, but it's pretty much every TV show we have on right now. And what I wanted was a little bit more depth and a little bit more something a little bit more surprising and not so tropey.
So salty chocolate tart.
Yeah, like I wanted the salted chocolate tart, but instead they gave me a useless crown that I have no need for because my head is way too big for it.
Yeah, it's like I already have like a cave full of treasures. I have Sokka's boomerang, Aang's staff. Forget that's what we saw back there.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the Easter eggs.
I already have so many treasures. You know, I've got Game of Thrones. I've got Rings of Power. I've got all of these things. And you're doing nothing to set yourself apart at this point.
So, yeah, when you say that, that raises it a little bit for me. That makes it come off a little. I'm also disappointed on the fact that I thought I was hoping for at least, because again, like we said, it's book 4 Earth. I thought we were going to potentially see Callum tap into a little bit of Earth primal magic, at least try get the understanding like we did with the Storm. Because I think I've told y'all this before, but like the whole explanation of Storm primal magic, that scene to me was probably the highlight of the series for me. Like,
when he finally understands it after his dream.
Yeah, it's just the whole weird dream sequence leading up to it. I thought it was great. Like it was understanding because he feels the storm. He's becoming the storm. He's understanding the storm, and then that's how he's able to tap into it. And I thought we were going to get a little bit of that with Earth, which is I thought is what they were going to lead into. I thought that's what they were going to use Rayla and his issues to kind of help push into it. I don't know, find an emotional connection that would help establish him and what their relationship with them and how, like, I don't know, stagnant Earth is or something. I don't know, anything. I thought we were going to get
or
that.
how, like, I don't know.
It may be the fact that I put a lot on this season. You know, I feel like I probably came in with extremely high expectations.
I think a lot of viewers did because we got the first 3 seasons in a span of 14 months, and then it took 3 years for us to get this 4th season.
For it to just be, I don't want to call it mediocre, but it's like borderline mediocre.
It was good. It was fun, but it left a lot on the table.
Yeah, which like if we get the other seasons, you know, like how we did before, it's like like maybe like 6-7 months we get season 5 and so forth and so forth. But it just feels off for a show I've been waiting like you said, like maybe 3-4 years for now.
Yeah,
and I don't know. Like I said, it just wasn't hitting me the way I wanted to. I felt like I had a little higher expectation. I felt like it was 100% within their power to raise the bar a bit, and they decided to back off for the sake of making the show more kid friendly, which is fair. But I don't even think the darker topics wasn't kid friendly.
Yeah, they did a lot in Korra with heavy things and still being able to make it kid friendly. They did it in Avatar, and they even did it in the first 3 seasons of Dragon Prince. And this one, it felt like they were shrugging away from it. And in terms of episode count and how many chapters we know that this is going to have, episode count, it's going to end up being very similar to Fullmetal Alchemist. And like I know that like Fullmetal Alchemist isn't necessarily a kids show, but it does the dark and comedy very well. Like it's a mainly dark show, but it brings in the comedy and the brevity when it's needed. And I feel like this show is doing the exact opposite of it at this point in time, where it's way too comedic and doesn't actually explore the meaning of the stories and stuff as well as it should. It kind of shies away from itself so that it can be more kid friendly. But I think it was doing such a good job of being able to be kid friendly even while handling darker themes in the first 3 seasons without being so immature in its joke style.
And it's weird because there's a lot of elements of this series, like the intro leads you to believe that they're going a more, serious, intenser route. Like that, the music that plays, the like I said, the certain issues they're bringing up between like religion, PTSD, so forth. Like they're throwing these topics in, so it makes you have this weird sense of like, oh yeah, they're definitely gonna like push to be more, thinking rather than fart jokes, which like I don't mind a fart joke here and there, but it seemed like we were ruining a lot of good scenes with it. Like I think the pajama scene was well placed. I think their dead ass was a fart joke. That was what ill placed. But the pajama scene, yeah, that was fun comedy for that moment because it's Sora and Claudia. But
oh yeah, because it was just like pajamas are comfy and it saves time. Great show.
And it just doesn't seem like a majority of the characters outside of maybe Rayla has developed at all or aged.
Ezrin has developed.
Ezrin has. I know it's shitty. I kind of wish they changed his voice actor because it does not feel like he fits his body anymore.
It doesn't.
But you're right. Ezrin has developed. He's changed. So I would say Ezrin and Rayla look like they developed. Callum, I can understand him not necessarily developing more because he already had a bunch of development prior.
Yeah.
Soren, I feel like
he's developed a lot, but also not at all.
Yeah, it's like a weird balance. Like in certain things he's grown up on, and other things like I feel like he's supposed to be more grown for the type of character that he is now. Like he can still make jokes or two, but I feel like his type of humor or how he is should have somewhat.
I think they needed to make him less childish himbo and more of an adult at this point, because he is an adult at this point.
He should have seen more of. He should have come off as more reliable. I think is what it is. Which he had moments of that, but they didn't really give him a chance to shine in being more reliable. Like we see morally he's aged, but like hasn't become any more reliable besides the fact that he can use a sword, but it didn't do anything this season at all.
And then Claudia's exactly the same, which kind of makes sense because she's kind of been alone that entire time.
Claudia, I let it slide for the simple fact that her character refuses to kind of grow up.
Yes.
In the sense that all of her actions are for her father to appease her father. None of them are her own. So she's refusing to step into her as an individual. So I let that slide.
Yeah, and it's just like how Viren doesn't need development because it's the same character as 2 years ago, just a day later.
Yeah.
But
he's not
in that way, he actually might be the most developed because, like, he's very different nowadays. If anything, he's more concerned about Claudia. And, like, every time, like, she's about to do something, he thinks back to his past.
Yeah, because he's traumatized. And I think that the Queen of the Sun Elves was well developed from what little we knew of her into this season.
Yeah, they did establish more for it. Like I said, I like the stuff with the Sun Elves. That was interesting.
But that
good
almost
world
felt
building.
like it should have been in the Sun book and not in the Earth book.
I also felt like the whole thing with the brother of the Sun Elf Queen should have maybe lasted longer or done more with, because, like,
Absolutely,
taken care of.
I think the Sun Elf story of this season should have ended around the time that the architect gets sentenced to build a new shrine. And then maybe you have Amaya and the Queen talking about how they need to, like, talking about the choice between being a queen and being able to marry a human, and then just leave it there. Let it fester for next season.
Yeah, like, I would like to see more of these horror collaborators that are siding with him, have it drag out more, like maybe start with, like, little problems that cause stuff to make them think, like, this is a bad step.
Yeah.
And then move on. We didn't need, like, this blood and fire thing right away.
The Ash and Blood, the War of Ash and Blood was such a Game of Thrones ripoff. I wanted to just rip my hair out.
Now that you're saying it, yeah.
But also the fact that, like, as soon, like, it could have even ended as soon as that was delivered. That story can be put off to the side until next season. And then maybe you make that the opening scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have just loved to see more people on the other king side, so I knew, like, there's a chance they can cause some problems, but it was pretty much just him and that girl, and it's like, oh, like, these people might side with us, like, oh, this can be dealt with easily.
Now that you're mentioning that, and I'm thinking on it, I didn't like that aspect. It was just like, oh yeah, they would side with us. And I'm like, why? Why would they?
Yeah, and he was just so impatient. And to me, it felt like the writers were impatient with that storyline and using his impatience as a terrible writing tool.
It hurt what could have been a great character story.
Yes.
Because it's not, like, the story that we're building with him isn't bad. I wouldn't even say it's a little unique. So it's a bit of a shame that it didn't get fleshed out like that. I guess they don't want to spend too much time on it because they don't want to use that as, like, a conflict that takes away from the rest of the show, because
they don't have enough time.
Yeah,
this might have been one of those things where, like, how we talked about with Young Justice, where, like, just do an offshoot story.
If anything, I'm just surprised. This is a cartoon with 8 episodes of seasons, and the episodes are only, like, 20 minutes long. Like, it's not like Game of Thrones where, like, they're almost, like, an hour long. Like, you kind of need a longer episode count.
Dragon Prince is 20 to 30 minutes for 9 episodes a season. Game of Thrones is an hour to an hour and 20 minutes for 10 episodes a season.
Yeah.
So yeah, it almost, like, Game of Thrones seasons is almost 3 times as long as Dragon Prince is. Like, you guys, you can keep the time, just increase the number of episode counts almost.
Also, I was talking to Steph about this. I'm definitely going to credit her to this idea. But, like, the proposal moment could have been an OVA.
It could have been, yeah. OVA would have been nice.
Like, Netflix does do that. They like to do those special episodes at the end. Like, they could have did that, yeah.
Yeah, like there's so many things that they could have done the whole Sun Elf thing as a special episode. Make it an hour long, really delve into it, give it all of the attention it needs.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Because it's like we're not gonna say it's not like people who watch the show aren't gonna want to see that. I'm pretty sure every person I've ever talked to who's seen the show was like the Sun Elf situation was probably the most interesting part. Not the most, but it was one of the most interesting parts of the series.
Yeah, I'm on a Discord where literally my profile picture is the Sun Elf walking through all the magma in her form.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's badass.
So like, I don't know. It's like getting unfortunate, you know. What else can I say about this season? And I thought Soren was gonna actually be a dragon rider. That pissed me off too. I was actually excited to see that, or a wyvern rider, really cool. Or whatever.
And then they
like
take it away.
He like half befriended the dragon, and then he finds Claudia, and I don't even know what happened to the dragon.
Yeah, like where did this dragon go? Is the dragon gonna come back once they leave this cave? Like,
because they did the yip yip and everything. So if you're gonna do the yip yip, that dragon is now important. I don't care.
Soren needs something to set him aside to make him like a good character. Because like Callum has magic, Ezra's a king,
and they hint at it throughout the season too. Like they hint at how like he has grown like a fondness for dragons. Like we genuinely see that he likes dragons specifically in this season.
Yeah, Ezra talks to animals. Rayla,
I'm sure she's an assassin who's never killed.
Yeah, she's just a badass.
And you know that's probably my favorite thing about my favorite bits of comedy in this series was Soren and the Queen's interactions.
Oh yeah.
Those were my favorite bits of comedy. That was tasteful to me.
I'm so happy they let the jester come along.
What was the best part of that?
I did like that line.
Them interacting was the intense, like anxiety-filled moments of the crowd just watching his comedy scene and her not laughing at all until the very last joke.
And she's like, aha.
That was beautiful.
It was nice. See, comedy like that, I think works. And I feel like Soren being that kind of person who knows how to light up a situation should be played upon. Or not like, him just being...
The other comedy that really worked too, also the first episode, was Callum being late and then screwing up his magic thing so that he blew up the giant jelly tart. Like, that's a great comedy moment. But then you follow it up with 20 fart jokes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't say the Callum thing was a great moment. Honestly, I didn't care for it. I thought it fell flat for me.
Right, but it's still way better than 20 fart jokes.
Yeah, definitely better than the fart jokes.
It's one of those like, oh, you can kind of giggle at it. And it's quick and it moves on. And it also helps progress the story.
Yeah, it did fit because everyone thought Soren was going to flop and Callum was going to be the thing that like does it, but it goes the other way around, which again shows Soren as a lot more reliable. And I wish we got to see more moments of Soren being more reliable. We see him like we said before. We've seen Soren progress morally and intellectually, but he doesn't seem reliable yet.
Also, the comedy works better when it progresses the story. You don't have enough time to tell your full story. If you're gonna have comedic moments, it needs to help move it along.
Yes. So, out of 10, or unless anyone has more to add to it.
No, I think that's really it. Like,
out of 10, what would you rate Dragon Prince season 4?
I'm good at 4.
4. All right, shit.
Haxley doesn't like this show.
Then like the entire time I'm watching it, I'm mostly just sorting through my Pokemon cards because I bought a binder for like the first time in like 20 years. So I'm trying to put them all in here and organize them by their name, not by name, but the number.
Oh my god, that's a lot of patience that I don't have.
Yeah, I would do like alphabetically by type at most.
By number, that's a lot of patience.
Yeah.
And the downside is these like VMAX or V cards. They don't even have the number on them. So sometimes I have to look up what number is this Pokemon if I don't remember exactly where they fit. Especially in like
That's too much.
Kalos, Alola, and Galar. I don't know those Pokédex entries as well as others.
That is too much.
Power to you, actually.
I think I would give it like a 7.2. I had fun, but it feels really missed, and it's just above mediocre.
I'll give it a 6 to 6.5. Because, like I said, maybe it's again because I came in with just a lot more higher expectations, and the way it was portrayed through trailers, and the way the music was in the beginning, and the way that the flashbacks were, I expected it to be just more groundbreaking, more like more able to make me think.
Yeah,
and it just didn't do that.
Yeah, I would say that my 7.2 is to see, as in Callum should be learning more magic.
Yes. I hope they give Callum, which I'm sure they will, because it makes it seem like he's going to be the big mage.
Yeah. Well, what I think is going to end up happening is they're going to make him really powerful, and then he's going to end up getting corrupted, and they're going to have to stop him from being corrupted towards the end, and then they're going to fight Aravos.
He'll probably be possessed by Aravos.
He'll be possessed.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. And like,
and then
Freya's gonna try kill him but can't. We're gonna have to go through this whole
whole deal. And then Aravos
deal.
will get his body back, and then we'll see Callum and Aravos have a mage fight off,
which will be cool.
Like that is how I think the series should end.
But I hope so. But again, leading into that, with all the seasons, they should have put more of an emphasis on Earth magic, and we didn't see any Earth magic at all.
We saw rocks falling.
Not by magic.
We saw the dragon breathe shards of rock.
Is that even Earth magic?
It's his breath weapon, that's for sure.
I'm assuming these golems are Earth magic of some kind.
Yeah, that too.
Are you sure they're Earth magic, or are they just creatures that exist?
Who knows? Oh, the little rock things. That's Earth magic. The Batman things.
The gems that glowed?
No, the Batman things. The Drake writers had.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's Earth magic. I don't know what it does.
Also the magnets. Rocks that glowed were not Earth magic, but they were rocks that were magic.
They're magical, and it could resonate with other types. Like this one resonates with storm magic.
Yes.
Something.
By the way, I was like, this is stupid.
Oh, I thought it was the prettiest thing that they had done.
It was pretty, but it served no purpose.
Oh,
you know what I don't understand
was the disguise.
These creatures that are in the dark, like, oh, don't turn on any lights. It's like, if this place is really that dark, I feel like these creatures will just hunt you by the sound, and you guys are talking aloud.
Well, that's exactly what happened, actually.
But they found them when Callum accidentally turned on the light and had to hide it, and then Blight had to fight turning on. It didn't seem like the creatures knew where they were there.
His cube did glow, because it fell out his bag.
Yeah.
Somehow.
And that's when the things knew they were there, and they kind of honed in. It's like, first of all,
and then Bane was just like, I'm gonna glow this entire time until we're out of here now.
Yeah. Shouts out to my man Callum for just having the best character design glow up.
Oh, for sure. I think Soren's was pretty good too.
Soren glowed up as well, yes.
Honestly, they all did.
Claudia looks exactly the same.
Yeah, the four main group definitely all had to glow up.
Yeah, Rayla has a great look. Ezrin is aging again. Nothing against the voice actor, but I think it's time to change him.
Oh, what I want to happen is next season his voice start cracking.
I don't think it should have just been cracking, or maybe get a little bit deeper every now and then this time.
Just something. He's not supposed to sound like he's 5.
Have the comedy be in the fact that there's now a prepubescent boy having his voice crack.
Corvus is younger than I thought he was.
Right.
He looks younger this season than he did last season.
Hey man, black don't crack.
Yeah, but I don't think we've regressed either.
Yeah, no, I'm disappointed in this season, but mostly just disappointed that they didn't do the most that they could.
Yeah. It was a setup season. That's what it feels.
Honestly,
like.
this season felt more kiddish than the first 3 seasons.
It did feel a lot more
definitely.
childish than the other seasons.
Because the childishness in the first season was mostly surrounding Ezrin, who was a child. So it made sense.
Yeah.
Ezrin is still a child, but he's supposed to have like progressed.
He's a
A little bit more mature. He's a king, so he's doing some more adult stuff.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't feel like it fits his character anymore.
Yeah, I would say that the first director that they had was a lot better, in my opinion.
And are they ever gonna like make Zim not a dog?
No.
Because like he's supposed to be this hyper intelligent dragon. Like I get it. Like
humans don't learn to talk that early. So when does a dragon learn to talk?
He is a baby.
I don't know. He is a baby, but they increased his size exponentially.
Babies grow a lot too, and they don't still start talking.
I don't think dragons grow at that rate.
This small and has to be bigger than this by the end of it. In comparison,
I just think he should at least be able to like say a word or something. Like he should be learning to speak at this point.
I don't know. I think it depends on the life expectancy of a dragon. So maybe they get more time to develop, so it might take longer for them to speak than 2 years.
Which
or
we
something.
know that they live for centuries.
So for all I know, maybe they don't learn to speak till like 100.
I guess it's fair. I still have yet to hear that fire dragon talk. He just stares and then breathes fire.
Yeah,
and he looks so good doing it.
Yep. Yep.
But we also don't know if like all dragons can speak, or is this just like an arc dragon king queen thing?
That is also true. We have not heard a single non-arc dragon speak.
I think most dragons learn to speak.
So maybe
he did mention that big red dragon that doesn't speak, and we didn't see like the dragons in like this woods talk.
Maybe Zim will not be able to speak until he becomes an archdragon. Maybe there's some sort of magical ability that you get.
I don't want that to be the answer for why he can't speak. That'll irritate me so much if that's the answer for why he can't speak.
Fantasy has done way worse before.
They have, and I hope the writers know that's not the way to go for why he can't speak.
All right, I think that's it though, because I definitely need to go get some food.
It's time for me to get ready for work.
Adios.
See y'all.
Yeah.
And broadcast.